Picture this. Sunday evening, you sit down at your kitchen table with coffee and your laptop. Tonight's the night. You're finally going to create that budget you've been putting off. You open a spreadsheet. You download a template. You list every expense category you can think of: groceries, utilities, gas, insurance, entertainment, eating out, clothing, home repairs, gifts, subscriptions. 2 hours later, you've got a beautiful spreadsheet. Everything color-coded, categories organized. You feel accomplished. This month will be different. Fast forward to Thursday. You stop for coffee on the way to work. Friday, you grab lunch with colleagues. Saturday, there's a sale at your favorite store. By Sunday, you haven't even looked at that spreadsheet since you made it. Does this sound familiar? Here's what nobody tells you. You didn't fail at budgeting. Budgeting failed you. Traditional line item budgets don't work for most people. They never have. And there's decades of research explaining exactly why. More importantly, there's a better system. One that works with your psychology, not against it. One that replaces willpower with automation. One that connects your money to what you actually care about. Let's start with some uncomfortable truth. Research from behavioral economists at the University of Virginia found something fascinating. When people set realistic budgets, they tend to spend right up to that limit. But here's the twist. When people set optimistically low budgets, numbers they know they'll exceed, they actually spend less than if they'd been realistic. Think about that for a second. Being unrealistic works better than being realistic. Why? Because budgets operate as reference points in your brain. The lower the reference point, the more you resist spending. Even when you blow past your optimistic budget, you still spend less than you would have without it. But there's a bigger problem. A study involving over 9,000 people tested 3 different budgeting approaches. The results: none of them significantly reduced spending compared to simply showing people their transaction history. That's right, creating elaborate category budgets didn't help people spend less money. The research reveals why. Creating and following a budget requires combating what psychologists call information aversion. Nobody wants to confront their past spending mistakes. Nobody enjoys facing evidence of their poor choices. When you fail to stick to your budget, you feel ashamed. So you avoid looking at it altogether. There's also the cognitive load problem. Once you create a budget, you must remember spending limits across multiple categories. You must track how much you've spent in each category. You must do mental calculations every time you make a purchase. Researchers describe this as exhausting your mental bandwidth, the same bandwidth you need for every other decision in your life. For people over 50, there's an additional challenge. You've likely got more complex finances than younger people. Medical expenses, home maintenance, helping adult children or grandchildren, travel plans. Your spending doesn't fit neatly into rigid categories. Life keeps throwing curveballs that make your carefully planned budget obsolete by mid-month. And here's the final nail in the budget coffin. Studies on financial management behavior show that traditional budgeting induces stress and triggers cognitive biases. Stringent budgeting environments increase what researchers call decision fatigue, the mental exhaustion that comes from making too many small choices. Every purchase becomes a negotiation with yourself. Did I budget enough for this? Which category does this come from? Can I still afford that other thing I wanted? It's exhausting. No wonder people give up. There's a deeper explanation for why spreadsheet budgets don't work. It comes from Nobel Prize-winning economist Richard Thaler's work on something called mental accounting. Thaler discovered that people don't treat all money equally. We create separate mental accounts for different types of money, even though every dollar has the same value. You might scrimp and save your paycheck money while freely spending your tax refund. You might be frugal with your savings account but blow through a bonus check. Same money, different mental accounts. Here's where it gets interesting for our purposes. Thaler found that people who organize their money into specific mental accounts with clear purposes save more than people who just try to save in general. When your money has a label, a story, a reason to exist, you protect it differently. Traditional budgets ignore this completely. They try to impose artificial spending limits without giving you emotional reasons to care about those limits. Your brain rebels. It asks, why shouldn't I spend this? It's my money. I earned it. I deserve this coffee, this lunch, this purchase. The budget has no good answer. It just says, because the spreadsheet says so. That's not motivating. It's restricting. Research published in the Journal of Consumer Research found that successful saving requires more than just setting limits. It requires linking your financial behavior to your actual goals and values. The study showed that people with specific savings goals accumulated significantly more wealth than people who just tried to budget better or save more. Another factor, self-control research reveals that your ability to resist temptation is a limited resource. You can't rely on willpower alone. Every day, you make thousands of decisions. Each one depletes your self-control. By evening, when you're tired and stressed, you've got nothing left to resist that online purchase or impulse buy. Traditional budgets demand constant self-control. They're built on the myth that you can maintain discipline all month long, every month, forever. That's not how human psychology works. So what's the alternative? Switch from controlling spending to directing saving. From restriction to aspiration. From line item budgets to goal-based accounts. Here's how it works. Instead of tracking every dollar you spend across dozens of categories, you identify what you're actually saving for. Not vague ideas like retirement or emergencies. Specific things you can picture. Feel. Imagine enjoying. Maybe it's a trip to visit your grandchildren who live across the country. Maybe it's replacing your aging car in 2 years. Maybe it's renovating your kitchen. Maybe it's building a cushion so you can retire 6 months earlier than planned. Now here's the crucial part. You give each goal its own savings account, and you name it. Not savings account one. Not high-yield savings. You call it grandkids visit fund, or new car fund, or kitchen renovation, or early retirement freedom. This taps directly into Thaler's mental accounting research. When money sits in an account labeled with a specific emotional goal, your brain treats it differently. It's not just money anymore. It's your future trip, your future car, your future freedom. You protect it. Studies on mental accounting published in peer-reviewed journals confirm this. Research shows that people who create labeled savings buckets or envelopes save larger amounts and adhere more consistently to their savings goals. The labeling creates what researchers call psychological ownership. The money feels earmarked for something important, making you reluctant to spend it on anything else. Think about the emotional difference. Traditional budget. Don't spend more than $400 on restaurants this month. Goal-based approach. Put $50 a week into your grandkids' visit fund, and by summer you'll have enough to fly out and spend a week with them. Which one motivates you? Which one makes you excited to check your account balance? The goal-based approach also solves the all or nothing problem that destroys traditional budgets. With spreadsheet budgets, one mistake feels like failure. You overspend in one category, you feel guilty, you stop looking at the budget, everything falls apart. With goal-based saving, you're not failing when you spend money elsewhere. You're just choosing to prioritize today over tomorrow. That's a legitimate choice. But seeing the grandkids visit fund grow week after week, that makes the choice clear. That morning coffee might feel good today, but seeing that account balance reach your goal feels better. Now we add the secret ingredient that makes this whole system work, automation. This is where implementation intentions research becomes critical. Psychologist Peter Gollwitzer discovered that people who create if-then plans are dramatically more successful at achieving goals than people who just have good intentions. An if-then plan works like this. If it's Friday after I get paid, then I will transfer $50 to my grandkids' visit fund. The specificity creates what Gollwitzer calls strategic automaticity. You're using conscious planning to create automatic behavior. You're delegating control to a predetermined trigger. Research shows these implementation intentions work because they bypass the need for ongoing motivation and willpower. Once you set up the trigger, it runs automatically. You don't have to remember. You don't have to decide. You don't have to talk yourself into it. It just happens. Studies involving thousands of participants found that implementation intentions increase goal achievement rates by an average of 200 to 300% compared to goal intentions alone. That's not a small difference. That's transformative. Now combine implementation intentions with actual financial automation. Set up automatic transfers. The money moves from your checking account to your named savings accounts before you ever see it. Before you can spend it, before you have to make a decision about it. Behavioral economics research on savings programs consistently shows that automation is the single most powerful intervention for increasing savings rates. When companies automatically enroll employees in retirement plans, participation jumps from around 40% to over 90%. When people set up automatic transfers to savings accounts, they save dramatically more than people who rely on manual deposits. Why does automation work so well? Several reasons. First, it removes decision fatigue. You're not making the choice to save every week or every month. You made the choice once when you set up the automation. Now it runs on its own. Second, it harnesses something called loss aversion. Research by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky shows that people feel the pain of losing money roughly twice as intensely as they feel the pleasure of gaining it. When money automatically moves to savings before you see it in your checking account, you never experience the loss of transferring it. It was never yours to spend in your mental accounting. But when you have to manually move money from checking to savings, it feels like giving something up. Third, automation works with your laziness instead of fighting it. This isn't an insult, it's human nature. Research shows that people overwhelmingly stick with default options. They don't opt out. They don't change things. If the default is money automatically goes to savings, that's what happens. If the default is you have to remember to save, it doesn't happen. Let's make this concrete. Here's how you build your own goal-based automated saving system. Step 1. Identify 3 to 5 specific goals, not vague aspirations. Concrete things you want to achieve within the next 1 to 3 years. For each goal, get specific. Don't say travel more. Say spend a week in Italy for our 40th anniversary. Don't say replace my car. Say buy a reliable used sedan to replace my current car when it hits 150,000 miles next year. Step 2. Calculate how much you need and when you need it. If that Italy trip costs $4,000 and it's 18 months away, you need to save about $220 per month. If the car will cost $15,000 and you've got a year, that's about $1,250 per month. Be realistic about the timeline and the cost. Step 3. Open separate savings accounts for each goal. Many banks and credit unions let you open multiple savings accounts at no cost. Online high-yield savings accounts make this even easier. Some institutions specifically allow you to create buckets or give custom names to different savings pots within one account. Step 4. Name each account emotionally. Not savings 1 inch and savings 2. Name them after what they're for. Use names that create a picture in your mind. 40th Anniversary Italy Adventure. Reliable Transportation Fund. Debt-Free Living Celebration. Step 5. Set up automatic transfers. This is non-negotiable. Schedule transfers to happen immediately after your income arrives. Most banks let you schedule recurring transfers by date. Set it to transfer the day after your paycheck deposits. Or if you're retired and receive monthly distributions, schedule it for the day after those hit. Step 6. Make the accounts slightly difficult to access. Don't link them to your debit card. Don't keep the app on your phone's home screen. Create just enough friction that you won't raid them on impulse, but not so much that you can't access the money if you genuinely need it for the intended purpose. Step 7. Check your progress regularly. This is where goal-based accounts shine compared to traditional budgets. Checking your budget feels like auditing your failures. Checking your goal accounts feels like watching your dreams grow closer. Set a weekly or monthly reminder to look at your balances. Let yourself feel proud of the progress. Research on financial behavior shows that visible progress toward specific goals creates a positive feedback loop. You feel good about saving, so you're motivated to keep saving. You might even find yourself looking for small ways to add extra money to your goal accounts. That never happens with traditional budgets. Automation running. Once you adjust to living without that money, you can add another goal. Research shows that people adapt quickly to automated savings within 2 to 3 months. Most people don't even notice the money is gone. What about emergencies? Yes, you need an emergency fund. That's goal number 1 if you don't already have one. Make it a specific goal. 3 months of essential expenses in my emergency peace of mind fund. But here's the key. An emergency fund prevents you from raiding your other goal accounts when unexpected expenses hit. It's not separate from the system, it's the foundation of the system. What if you need to adjust the amounts? Adjust them. This isn't a prison sentence. Maybe you started too aggressively. Maybe your income changed. Maybe your priority shifted. Change the automatic transfer amount, but don't eliminate it. Research shows that once automation stops, most people never restart it. Adjust the amount, but keep the automation running. What about tracking your spending? You can if you want to. Some people find it useful. But here's the beauty of this approach. If you're automatically saving toward your goals first, your spending takes care of itself. Whatever's left in your checking account is yours to spend. No guilt. No categories. No spreadsheet. If you run out before the next paycheck, that's feedback to either reduce your automatic savings amounts or reduce your spending. But the goals keep getting funded regardless. For decades, financial advisors have pushed the same failing solution. Make a budget, track every expense, exercise iron discipline, maintain perfect control. It hasn't worked. It doesn't work. It won't work. The research tells us why. Our brains aren't built for that kind of ongoing restriction and surveillance. We're built for automation and emotional connection. We save for things we can picture and feel. We follow through on plans that run automatically. We succeed when the system works with our psychology instead of fighting it. Traditional budgets are built on the lie that you can willpower your way to wealth. Goal-based automated savings is built on the truth you can design your way to wealth. You don't need more discipline. You don't need a better spreadsheet. You don't need to track every coffee. You need clear goals, emotional connections, automatic systems. You need to stop trying to control every dollar you spend and start directing the dollars you save. The traditional budget is dead. It's time to build something better. Your goals are waiting. Your accounts are ready to be opened. Your automation is ready to be scheduled. The research is clear. The method is proven. The only question is, what will you save for first?